Well, these are bizarre. I wonder who the people lost in history might have been trying to communicate with. Could this be a signpost for aliens? How did these images end up in this place? Who are they for?
Here we go. All we need is an open road and a chance to see a never-ending world that's beautiful. Here we go with the sunlight on our skin. It's a brand new day. It's ours to take and we will let it in. This is where the adventure begins.
So we're out here again at the Colorado River at our friend's place. You've seen it a few times on some of our past videos. We met our family here. And all the way out here, I kept getting this ridiculously annoying message that my trailer has been disconnected. And it dings every time it does this. So it would ding, it would give me the message. I might drive for 10 seconds, I might drive for a minute. It goes away, seems like it connects, and then anywhere from right away to minutes or miles later, it would do it again. And it would just do it over and over and over again. We stopped, I unplugged the rig, I plugged it back in, made sure everything was working. I put a new 7-pin plug on it previously, and it still gave me the same message. But the thing that was bothering me was the running lights never turned off. The backup camera, which I leave on as a rear view mirror camera, that stayed on. So I knew that it wasn't totally disconnected because all of those go through the 7-pin connector. So I didn't know what to do. One time we had to stop on the freeway, and I did notice that although we stopped, I was doing a little skidding and pulling to the right, and that wasn't good. I was having a little trouble stopping, so I knew something was going on. So I checked the forums. Some people have been having problems with the Ford F-150 and the 7-pin connector and it disconnecting and doing things like that. So I thought, well, that's probably the problem. And so it's not actually disconnecting, it is just giving me that signal and off and on. There's something strange going on, and I don't know what it is, but we're on the road. Well, a couple days ago, I decided to crawl under the rig and see what was going on, see if I could see something in the trailer. So the first thing I did was I went through and I checked all of the ground, because the ground is usually the main thing, that it drops ground and it loses connection. Maybe not totally drops ground, but enough to, you know, let the computer know that there's a problem. That wasn't it. I tested everything thoroughly. Then I went over to the brakes. Let me show you what I found.
I took off the cover to the junction box under the trailer. I rechecked all of my connections I had made, especially the ground wires to the chassis. All seemed solid. I continued to trace the wiring to the brakes. To my surprise, out of the 4 brakes, 3 had broken wires. No wonder I was getting no power. There was only 1 working brake. As I further checked the wiring, some of the insulation seemed to be rubbed off where the wiring went through the axles, through the holes through the axles. So my chiming was that wiring probably periodically shorting to the trailer axle metal as I drove. Now I couldn't rewire the entire brake system here, but I was able to wrap electrical tape around the exposed area, get a hold of some outdoor wire connectors, thank goodness for Amazon, and reconnect the brakes. This seemed to fix the problem, at least for now. I needed to get some gas for the truck, so I decided to drive up to Parker, Arizona to fill up. I've always noticed that the town right across the river was named Earp, but never really thought much about it. I knew Wyatt Earp had spent his last years in California and figured there must be some connection. If you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you might remember that we've run into Wyatt Earp already on our travels. He turned up in our visit to Deadwood, South Dakota in episode 7, Dodge City, Kansas in episode 42, and of course at the infamous OK Corral in Tombstone, Arizona in episode 20. I'll put a link to all of these episodes in the show notes if you're interested in exploring more. Since I have all human knowledge available at my fingertips, I went to the internet and found out that Wyatt Earp never lived in Earp. It was actually named for him later, but he did live down the road in the now ghost town of Vidal. And this is the cottage that he lived in. After leaving behind his law enforcement days, Earp was drawn to the prospect of wealth through mining. In 1906, Earp began to work several claims, including the Happy Days and Big Bell mine, where Earp invested both time and money, hoping to strike it rich. Despite the harsh desert conditions, Earp's tenacity led him to successfully mine gold, albeit in modest quantities. Earp and his common-law wife Josephine would spend time in the desert mining, and when the temperature got too hot to mine, they would live in Los Angeles, where Wyatt began consulting on early Hollywood westerns. Wyatt Earp died on January 13, 1929 at the age of 80 in Los Angeles, California. The town of Vidal blossomed in the early 1900s as a small mining community. With the onset of mining activities and the establishment of a railway line, Vidal thrived as a logistical hub for miners and travelers alike. However, as mining prospects dwindled and more lucrative opportunities rose elsewhere, the town faced economic decline. The reduction in railway significance and the harsh living conditions in the desert ultimately led to Vidal's gradual downfall, transforming it into the near ghost town that it is today. About 25 miles south of Earp's cottage lie one of the most mysterious creations in the area. Some speculate it could be proof of alien contact with ancient peoples. The Blythe Intaglios are a group of large geoglyphs or earth figures located near Blythe, California. Consisting of 6 human and animal figures etched into the desert floor, they're believed to have been created by indigenous peoples of the region, possibly the Mojave or Quechan tribes who inhabited the area long before the arrival of European settlers. It's sad that they had to fence all this up because you had idiot people on ATVs. So those are the legs right here, and then the body, and then there's a head up there, an arm, big arms. Yeah, I think these are I think this is damage here. These figures are thought to be at least 1,000 years old, though their exact age and purpose remain subjects of speculation and study. I like to think aliens. The largest of these figures is about 171 feet long, depicting a human figure. The other figures include stylized animals and other human forms, created by scraping away the dark surface layer of pebbles and rocks to reveal the lighter soil underneath. The significance of these geoglyphs is not fully understood, but scientists believe there is no evidence to support an alien connection, although it makes for a great story. Instead, they're believed to have had religious or ceremonial importance. The figures might have been used in ancient rituals or as markers for important sites. The Blythe Intaglios were relatively unknown in the modern world until they were spotted from the air by a pilot named George Palmer in 1932. Since then, they have been studied by archaeologists and are now protected as a cultural heritage site by the Bureau of Land Management. What is sad is that they've also been defaced by reckless people doing spin-outs with off-road vehicles. It's shocking how quickly something this amazing that has lasted for hundreds of years can be torn up in a matter of seconds by thoughtless people. Thanks for watching. Be sure to click on the links for some of our other Wyatt Earp themed adventures. It really means a lot to us if you like and subscribe to the channel. It gives more people the opportunity to learn about Are We There Yet? For Karen, Wesley, and myself, we wish you happy travels. See you next time.